The moment Maya Johnson stepped into the Michelin-starred restaurant, the atmosphere shifted, though not because of her presence. It was him, the Mater D, standing tall near the entrance, eyes scanning the room as if he were a king surveying his court. The faint hum of conversation and the clinking of glasses softened as he noticed her. His smirk was subtle but sharp, a silent message that she did not belong. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice smooth but dismissive. "We don't have a reservation under your name." He gestured vaguely toward the crowded lounge, his hand a wave of dismissal. Maya smiled politely, calm, measured, her voice even as she said, "I booked a private dining experience. Please, check the system." The Mater D chuckled, a sound that cut through the quiet of the room like ice. "There must be some mistake. VIP tables are reserved for our regular clientele," he said, letting his words linger with deliberate weight. Behind him, the staff exchanged glances, some confused, some complicit in the subtle humiliation unfolding. Diners nearby began to murmur, glancing at her as the tension grew. Phones rose discreetly, capturing the interaction, recording the smirk, the dismissal, the subtle but clear arrogance. Maya remained composed, standing tall. "I'm here for a dinner appointment," she repeated calmly. "My name is Maya Johnson." The Mater D narrowed his eyes, clearly unimpressed, and leaned slightly toward her, a faint condescension in his posture. "Your name doesn't ring a bell," he said. "Please, have a seat in the lounge until your table is ready." Polite in tone, cruel in effect. A whisper passed between diners nearby. "She's being treated like she's not supposed to be here," one said, voice low but incredulous. Another muttered, "This is uncomfortable." Maya exhaled slowly, steady, and reached into her leather bag, producing her phone with a casual grace that belied the storm about to unfold. She tapped a few buttons and spoke softly, deliberately, each word deliberate. "Initiate Protocol 5. The Mater D blinked, his smile faltering. "Protocol? What?" he asked, the tone somewhere between incredulity and mild irritation. The assistant manager, standing slightly behind him, paled as he saw the screen and began to scroll, a realization dawning on his face. Within moments, a smooth, professional voice responded through the device. "Ms. Johnson, shall we proceed?" The Mater D laughed nervously, a short, uncertain sound. "She's joking, right?" The assistant manager's hands trembled as he scrolled faster, checking the reservation system and internal records. "Sir, she is the founder and CEO of Ember Culinary Group," he stammered. "The chain that owns over 200 restaurants nationwide. Total assets, over $4 billion. The Mater D's confident posture faltered. His smirk disappeared, replaced by a flicker of panic. He glanced around the dining room, noticing diners staring, phones raised, eyes wide with disbelief. I didn't know," he stammered, voice breaking slightly. Maya's tone remained calm, composed, serene even, every word deliberate and controlled. "Exactly. And that is why we are sitting tonight, in your finest dining room," she said, her voice carrying a quiet authority that reverberated through the room. Diners leaned closer, intrigued, some whispering among themselves. "Wait, she owns this many restaurants?" one muttered. $4 billion in assets?" Another asked quietly. The Mater D fumbled for words, his authority evaporating under the weight of truth and the gaze of the room. Phones continued to record, capturing every expression, every shift of emotion. Shock, fear, awe. The assistant manager swallowed hard, trying to regain control, but it was too late. Maya had already reclaimed the power in the room, subtly, without raising her voice, without anger, simply through the revelation of her true identity. The Mater D finally spoke, his voice shaky, almost pleading. "Ms. Johnson, please. We can fix this. I can make arrangements." Maya raised a hand, calm, almost bored, but with unmistakable authority. There is nothing to fix. Respect is not optional. Hospitality is not about status. It is about dignity. A collective murmur of agreement rippled through the dining room. Phones recorded every word, ready to share the story far beyond the walls of this restaurant. Maya continued, her voice measured, her gaze sweeping across the room. This is a lesson in humility, one that cannot be ignored. For a moment, silence fell. The mater d' frozen, the assistant manager pale, diner stunned. Then Maya turned slightly, her attention shifting toward the staff. Your role is to serve with respect and professionalism, no exceptions. Today is a reminder. Learn from it. The mater d' swallowed hard. The last vestiges of arrogance gone, replaced with an uncomfortable understanding that the game had changed. In that quiet, charged moment, the power dynamic had flipped. Maya, calm and poised, had not raised her voice, had not shouted. Yet she had demonstrated control over the room, the staff, and the situation. And just before leaving the entrance, she addressed the viewers, her calm voice breaking the fourth wall in thought. So tell me, who are you watching this from? Which city are you joining us from today? Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button so you never miss a story where courage and dignity prevail. The mater d' stood frozen near the entrance, eyes wide, hands slightly raised as if to plead invisibility. The assistant manager's face was pale, fingers hovering over the reservation tablet, unsure whether to obey or to intervene. Around them, diners leaned in, whispers growing louder, the subtle murmur of astonishment filling the room. Phones continued to record, live streams beginning to circulate instantly, capturing every flicker of disbelief. Maya's presence remained calm, commanding, an unshakable center in a storm of chaos. She took a slow step forward, letting the silence deepen, letting every eye in the room feel the weight of authority she carried effortlessly. Let's be clear, she began, her voice steady, resonant. Your actions tonight have consequences far beyond this room. Arrogance, prejudice, dismissiveness, it is all visible, and it costs far more than you imagine. The mater d' swallowed hard. His previous bravado dissolved into something fragile, human, terrified. He opened his mouth to speak, but Maya raised a hand, cutting through the panic with controlled precision. There is no excuse, no room for misunderstanding. Respect is not negotiable. A few diners murmured in agreement, some nodding subtly, others shaking their heads in shock at what had just transpired. Maya reached into her bag again, bringing out her phone, and tapped a sequence of commands. Initiate executive review, she said calmly. Let's ensure this does not happen again. Immediately, the restaurant's corporate office responded, their polished voices crackling through the speaker. Ms. Johnson, we acknowledge your request. Full audit and policy review commencing. Please advise on directives. The mater d' stammered, panic rising. Ms. Johnson, please. We can manage this internally. We never meant any disrespect. Maya's gaze swept across the room, piercing, unwavering. Intent is irrelevant. Impact is clear. Today, lessons must be learned. Phones captured every word, the live streams exploding with viewers reacting to the unexpected twist. A seemingly ordinary dinner turned into a lesson on power, respect, and accountability. The assistant manager whispered, almost to herself, She's going to restructure everything. Maya continued, addressing the staff directly. New procedures will be implemented immediately. Mandatory training on respect and inclusion. Transparent accountability measures. Fairness in service. Every guest deserves dignity. No exceptions. This is not punishment for the sake of punishment. It is correction, and it is overdue. The mater d' sank slightly, shoulders slumping, understanding finally dawning on him that this was not a personal attack, but a lesson of consequence. Around them, diners watched, some still recording, some murmuring among themselves. I can assure you, Maya said, her tone gentle yet firm, that this establishment will emerge stronger, more just, and more professional, provided these lessons are embraced. Remember this moment. Arrogance, dismissiveness, prejudice. They are expensive. Silence lingered for a heartbeat. Then slowly the murmurs of the diners shifted from shock to admiration. Phones clicked, live streams continued, and social media notifications began to explode as the story went viral. Viewers captivated by the tale of dignity prevailing over entitlement. The Mater D nodded shakily, acknowledging both his error and the lesson imparted. Staff members, once hesitant and complicit, now looked on with understanding, realizing the magnitude of what had just unfolded. Maya turned toward the door, her presence still commanding, a calm force that had reshaped the room. "This is a reminder for all of us," she said, her voice carrying softly yet clearly, ensuring every ear in the room heard. "Respect is not optional. It is essential. And when it is denied, consequences follow." Diners watched in quiet awe as she left. The room buzzing, the energy shifted, the lesson indelibly marked. Phones continued to record, capturing the moment, immortalizing the evening when dignity won, arrogance failed, and respect was reclaimed. And as the doors closed behind her, Maya's calm, commanding voice returned for the viewers, breaking the fourth wall once more. Thank you for joining this story. Remember, integrity, respect, and courage are the qualities that shape our world. If you enjoyed this story and want more real-life tales of justice and unexpected triumphs, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button below. Share this story with your friends. And remember, that dignity is always worth standing up for. The dining room remained a place transformed. Staff changed, diners enlightened, and the story spreading far beyond the walls of that Michelin-starred restaurant. Maya Johnson had walked in as a guest, but she left as a teacher, a force of calm authority, a reminder that respect is earned, demanded, and never optional.